Hey everybody, welcome to Food for Thought for the month of September, which is also Hispanic Heritage Month. And this month we're going to talk about Colombian food. As you can see, Colombia is broken up into different districts, or you can think of it as different states like we are here in the US. And like here in the US, different kinds of food come from those different states. I'm going to be talking about specifically, besides the whole country, Antioquia and Valle del Cauca. Some of the foods that I'm going to be mentioning come from those places, but my family, for example, comes from the region, the areas of Cundinamarca and the capital district. That's where my family is mostly based. And so I can find the foods from those different regions when I go to the capital of Bogota, where my family still lives, actually. Fresh fruit juices at breakfast are a big thing in Colombia. You can get them at any meal, but at breakfast in particular. One of my favorite ones to have when I'm there, my aunt makes them for me, or I get them whenever we're in a restaurant, is strawberry juice. As you can see, this one happens to be in a restaurant. But it's just so delicious because I always get it in a milk base, so it makes it nice and creamy and just delicious. My mother's also a big fan of the fruit there, especially the ones that we can't get here, like this one. This one's a granadilla. It falls into the passion fruit family, and this one's not so much, she doesn't get this one in a juice form. She just usually eats this one straight from the peel, like you see in this picture, just with a spoon, just like a little cereal. She loves it. This is a guanabana. When I was little, I could not pronounce that. I used to say guanabana because I didn't understand accents and all that stuff. And it is another one that you cannot find really anywhere here. You have to go to, if you do want it, you have to go somewhere super special, and it's real hard to find. At least that has been in my experience. This is it's called a lulo, and it tastes somewhere between a pineapple or lemon. This is another one of my mom's favorite juices to have. And this guy right here is called tomate de árbol, and that's a tomato of the tree or tomato from the tree. I could be wrong on the translation, but its flavor, as you can guess, is a mild tomato flavor. Another one of my mother's favorites, along with guayaba. Its flavor is somewhere between strawberry and pear, so I'm very excited to taste that one at some point. It makes a great juice. And this guy right here is a curuba, which is a banana passion fruit, which is another one of my mom's big favorites. And she also likes to have blackberry juice, or as they say it in Spanish, mora. She loves that one. It's one of her favorites too. These are called arepas. They are just, basically they're a white corn patty. You can make it from maize flour, maize, and you can make them with so many different things. As the one on the right is made with, it's called arepa con pollo, which is, it has chicken on it. And the one on the left is arepa con queso, which has some melted cheese on top, and it's super delicious. Arepas aren't specific to any one region, state of Colombia. Everyone all around the country has their own way of doing it. The best way, in my opinion, is just with a light covering of butter and a little sprinkle of salt, and fresh off the grill. Charcoal grill is absolutely delicious, and they're very popular to fill up. So instead of putting the cheese on top, as you see here, or the chicken on top, I have seen them where they just stuff them like a pita bread, and it melts on the inside, and it is delicious. Colombian empanadas come in many shapes, sizes, tastes, fillings, but these ones right here that you see are the most popular, I feel. They're empanadas vallunas. They're called that because they come from Valle del Cauca. They come from the valley, and they're my absolute favorite thing. to eat in Colombia. Empanadas. These ones specific. They're made with meat and potatoes and some herbs and just fried up in a little corn patty shell. And you can eat them without dipping them in anything, or you can eat them with what you see there on the left called ají, which we could refer to as maybe like a chili. It's made with tomatoes, cilantro, and some onions, in my experience. And the one on the right is salsa rosada, or pink sauce, which the closest thing would be mayo chup. But this one's better because it has extra stuff in it. But that's the closest thing I could compare it to. It's super good. When I was little, I could eat so many of these. Not something I can do anymore. But if you ever go to a Colombian restaurant, I highly recommend that you try some empanadas. Disclaimer, under the shape here is a deep fried fish head, because the dish that I'm going to talk about now is a seafood dish. It's a whole deep fried fish. And so if it's not something you want to see, please go ahead and skip forward about a minute or so, and so you don't have to worry about seeing that. Okay, so here we go. This dish is called Mojara, and like I said, it's a whole deep fried fish, and they just dunk it in and fry it up. It's always served with either coconut rice or patacones, which is what is on the dish here, fried green plantains, meaning they're not ripe yet. This dish actually comes from the northern coast of the country, and it's a fish. The fish they use is one similar to tilapia. This dish is one that my mom never fails to have when we go to visit. It's one of her absolute favorite ones to eat, and she loves to have every bit of that fish. And if you think that means that she eats those little eyes, she does. This is my favorite dish, besides empanadas. This is called a Bandeja Paisa, and it comes from the state, region, district of Antioquia. It used to be called, or I think it's also called, a Bandeja Montañera, which is mountain tray, if you want to translate directly. But that just means it comes from the Andean region, and the Andes Mountains are the mountains that are, of course, in South America. And there's so many different ways to make it. But this is the basic one that I've always ever had. It's basically an interpretation of a combination of peasant type dishes, or so I was told. The dish consists of beans, white rice, a fried egg, a small arepa, avocado, chorizo, a nice piece of grilled meat, and at the bottom, that weird thing, that's pork belly, or we call chicharrón. It's super good, super greasy, but super delicious. And plantains, but they're ripe plantains, which makes them extra sweeter. And it's, as you can see, it's a very big dish. There's a lot of food on that. And so most restaurants here and over in Colombia offer two versions, which is the whole one, which is what you see, and a smaller one that they sometimes called bandejita, which is small. And so it has less of what you see on the plate, but I always try to get one big one at least once when we go, because I can never say no to that. It is just delicious. So if you ever go to a Colombian restaurant here, this is another dish I highly recommend, Bandeja Paisa. This right here, the food in the baskets, this meal is called a fritanga or a picada, which picada means chopped up. So as you can see, the food in the baskets is all like just different pieces of food, and it's just in the baskets. There's no plates, no forks and spoons unless you super want one. It's just a big family sitting around eating. That's the whole point of this type of meal. It's meant for a big family type meal. And it includes fried green plantains, which I've mentioned before are called patacones, that chicharrón or pork belly, some small yellow potatoes that I'm a big fan of called papas criollas. You got chorizo, yuca fries, not a big fan, ripe plantains, and my absolute least favorite, black sausage or blood sausage, what they call over there morcilla. I don't eat that, but my family, everyone else I know, is a big fan of just everything. I'm just a picky eater, and it's like I said, it's just meant to be eaten amongst a big group of people. And yes, the people in the picture are my family. They're all my family, and this is from the last time we went to visit in Colombia. It's delicious. Hey everyone, thanks again for joining us today for our Food for Thought for September. I hope you enjoyed today's cuisine lesson about, maybe you haven't ever heard anything about Colombian food, so I hope you enjoyed it and you learned maybe a little something new, and maybe you were motivated to maybe want to try some at some point. It's like I kept saying during the whole thing, all of it's delicious except for maybe that fish. But thanks for joining us. You have a good one. See you next month.